This is going to be my initial thoughts, so don't expect a fully baked cake. Today we're going to talk about where winds meet, how the game costs $0, and whether or not I'd recommend it. We'll eat cake later, don't worry. Hello and welcome to my channel. Anytime there's a new Eastern developed Souls-like combat game, I've got my eyes on it. But let's just correct one thing. This doesn't feel like a Souls-like at all, and I actually might be the only one who thought that it would be. I watched one trailer, knew I'd give it a try, so I avoided learning too much. But after playing it for a measly 3 hours, I think the answer is simple. Yes, you should try it. Not just because it's free. Nothing is ever really free. We will talk about that later in the video. But if you liked Black Myth Wukong, Wuchang Fallen Feathers, or anything like that, I think you should give it a shot. So far it doesn't hit the level of those games in terms of bosses, and I don't really expect it to. But my mind is wide open at the moment. I found it enjoyable and honestly kind of relaxing.
Okay, I'm bad. I'm bad. I am already dead. Wow.
I'm thinking I need to raise the difficulty up from recommended, because a decade of brutally difficult Souls-like has conditioned me in such a way. The movement feels pretty nice, and I am an absolute sucker for the standard Eastern combat flash. It does seem like the combat has a lot more to offer than I've properly experienced. We've got the usual skill tree. Oops, how did that get there? Moving on. The skill tree does seem pretty linear, unlike Black Myth Wukong, which gave a lot of customization. But there's definitely some interesting mechanics, like this skill, that allows you to steal enemies' weapons and throw it at them. The combat feels closer to Wuchang than Wukong, which was a game I thoroughly enjoyed. I love them both, honestly, though this game doesn't seem to pose the same challenge naturally. But there's a lot I've yet to discover, so let's not call that conclusive. Exploration feels really nice. There's a lot of interactive things like knocking a beehive down with a fire arrow, little puzzles along the way, blowing up walls. It doesn't feel exhausting or unnecessary, just a little extra fun for the sake of fun. And the sceneries are beautiful. I have high hopes for how much that progresses. But what I've seen so far is exactly what I love to see. Just simply nice to look at. The NPCs have been pretty enjoyable as well. I enjoyed the balance of sarcasm and silliness. Since I'm still early in the game, I can't say too much here. But so far they are as lovely as their visuals. Visuals are certainly a focus in this game's development, and clearly where the money will come from. Don't worry, it doesn't cost anything to customize your character. The character creator is really impressive. I definitely think a certain player base would love it. And that would be those of you drooling over Love and Dead Space, and of course the many other games like Wuthering Waves and all those other gotchas, you know. Drool all you want. If it isn't on my shoes, I couldn't care less. Absolutely beautiful results in the character creator. And anyone upset that they're too attractive, I challenge you to go into the character creator and tell me if you didn't get butterflies. I don't play games to be myself. I play them to look awesome, fight like I'm awesome, and win like I'm awesome. The third one is a bit tougher than the others. But hey, we sure look pretty when losing. Alright, let's discuss the elephant in the room. How does a free game that cost money to make it succeed? Well, they tempt you with candy, of course. There's plenty of rewards you can earn for free, and you usually get free stuff anytime the company messes up, which they will. But there's a whole bunch of really nice looking cosmetics. I'm pretty pleased with the balance of free and how much is available to buy. I always stick to my free-to-play ways, but I'm sure a lot of people will have fun. And if you don't have self-control, always have a reliable friend to keep you in check. I am that friend for someone. Actually, I haven't asked her about in-game cosmetic spending in a while. Oh no, she's probably broke, living with raccoons and sleeping in a dumpster. Well, this was my not-so-smooth way of revealing I have a little bit of ADD, but it's fine. In conclusion, the exploration feels free, the combat is a lot of fun, nothing crazy if you're familiar with harder games, but probably a huge level up if you're not familiar and don't play things like Stellar Blade, DMC, Sekiro, etc. Those games have great combat. The character creator is very impressive. I would love to hear from others who have played it, or any other games you guys are really into at the moment. Thank you for watching. Farewell.